Hi children, new year, new fashion, and this is the way I'll take class from today. Okay? Every day I see you through this. Take a notebook and a pencil and note down whatever I'm saying. And whatever you feel and I tell to you to write. Now I'm dealing with the first chapter, 3 questions written by Leo Tolstoy. Do you know who this Leo Tolstoy is? Just think of it. Have you ever heard this name? Leo Tolstoy. Have you ever heard this name? Yeah, I know. You have. You have heard it at least. Leo Tolstoy was not only a writer, he was a philosopher. So every story you read about Leo Tolstoy has written will have some philosophy that will teach you to think. Why this life was like this? Why we did not do that? Why are we doing this? Why are we fighting? Everything he will teach you. So this story is somewhat of the same type. Okay? So I have to tell one more great thing. Our father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, was a great follower of Leo Tolstoy. He was a follower of all his teachings. So even Satyagraha and other things, related things, he got ideologies from Leo Tolstoy's writings. So I think that's enough for the introduction of the lesson. So shall we go to the lesson? Before going to the lesson, I'll tell you a story which happened in my life. As usual, I'm always adamant about stories. Okay, see children, when my marriage was solemnized, it was on April 22nd. And since I am a believer in Hindu religion, what our parents do is they go to astrologer, he'll look into all our horoscope and he'll fix a date. That is the most auspicious day of my life. But what happened on that same day, so it is supposed to be the most good auspicious day of my life, right? On that day, what happened is our marriage was solemnized, it went on well, everything good went on well. But what happened was, on that same day, my mom's uncle, he was getting ready for the marriage, everybody was in good sari, good ornaments, everything was there. The moment he was about to get into the car, he got a severe chest pain and it was diagnosed to be a heart attack, massive heart attack, and he died on the spot. By that same time, I was getting married. And it had no problem with my life. But see, the same time, if it was auspicious for me, why was it not auspicious for him? For his wife, for his family at least? Why? So, this lesson, by the end of this lesson, I think you will get a small crack about what I told. Keep this in mind. My father, see, don't think my life is not good. It's going on well, no problem. But I am telling about the time, special time, which was auspicious for me. Why was it not auspicious for the other man? So, we go on with the lesson. 3 questions. So, we'll now start with the lesson 3 questions. It's a story about a king who wanted everything he did to be perfect. It's absolute perfect. Not a pin drop of wrong should be there. So this is the story of that king. So he thought and thought and thought, and finally he decided to ask others, what are the 3 things, or what are the things I need to be perfect so that none of my decision goes wrong? And he thought, if he get the answers to 3 questions, how many questions? Yeah, absolutely right. It is 3 questions. He will get everything right. Whatever he does, he will get everything right. And do you want to know what are the 3 questions? I'll write it now. First question. You will see that in the textbook. What is the right time to begin something? Right time to begin something. Something means any work if you are doing right time. So if it is the case of my marriage, right time for marriage. If it is the right time for studying, your time when you study, what is the right time? Second question is, which people should be listened to? For doing any work, which people should be consulted? See, if you are sick, which people should you go and consult? It's a doctor, right? If you want to get a medicine, it's a chemist, right? If you want to get some vegetables, you should go to a, so which is the, like that, which is the right person to consult, that to go and ask, which is the right time and which is the right person to be consulted. Now I go on to the third question. Okay, what is the most important thing? What is the most important, this is important thing? Okay, so children, these are the three questions which the king thought was important. Okay, so that he will, if he gets an answer to these three questions, he will be always acting in the correct way, so that he is going through the correct procedure. Right, first of all, what is the first thing? Right time to begin something. Which people should he listen? And what is the most important thing? So it's the king. If you want a pen, what should you do? You should go and search for it. But since he is the king, he doesn't want to go and search for the answer. What will he do? He'll call like this. Hey, who is there? Just give me the answers to these three questions. And the person who gives the best answer to all these three questions will be rewarded with a lot of money. So all the people, you and I, are fond of money, right? So everybody started thinking, what is the right answer to these three questions? And if the king likes all the answers, he will reward us with a lot of money, right? So they came, and many ways wise man, some with bed, some with lot big turban, because they were having everything heavy loaded in their head, I think. They came to the king, and many of them gave a lot of suggestions. So now what I will do is, I'll just read the portions which I have taught you now. Okay, right from the beginning. 3 questions. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. These 3 things were, what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So these were the 3 questions, right? Now, the king therefore sent messengers. You know who is a messenger, right? Messenger is a person who gives these 3, what the king told them to find out. He'll just go to some other place, to the towns where people are there, and he'll just read out this message, okay? Beating the trumpet, he'll just read out this message. People will hear this, and if they know their answer, they'll come to the king and start giving the answers, right? Okay, many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. You understood? If I ask you a question, which is your favorite color, one of you will answer it as blue. For other it will be red, and for yet another it will be white. Like that. For all these questions, wise men, they are different people, right? They'll have different answers, right? They told different answers, and king was in utter confusion. What to take as right? Okay. In reply to the first question, that is this question, a right time to begin something. Some said the king must prepare a timetable. Okay, some told you just prepare a timetable. I don't have to make it clear what a timetable is. You are always fed up with timetables. First period maths, second period English, like that you have a timetable. So in that first period maths teacher only will come. In that second period English teacher only will come. So you don't have a confusion what to do on that period and what not to do, right? Like that. If the king has a timetable, like you go on with the farming in the first 1 hour, you go on with the matters related to army in the second hour, like that if you get a timetable, so you don't have to worry what the correct time should be, okay? But some others thought it as absurd and then followed one, only in this way they said could he do everything at its proper time. Others said it was impossible to decide in advance the right way. Some others told preparing a timetable to rule a country, I've gone nuts in your head, okay? It won't be proper, okay? The king should notice all that was going on. Avoid foolish pleasures. What do you mean by foolish pleasures? Do you know what it is? Foolish pleasures. Don't you know? I think most of you know what is foolish pleasures, right? Foolish pleasures, like some of the kings may be adamant and very fond of seeing others dancing. Some will be fond of music and they'll spend a lot of time and money on this, wasting a lot of money, time and money on what? Music, dance, drinking, something like that. That is foolish pleasures. So some said you have to avoid all that foolish pleasures. Then what should you do? You should think only what is necessary for the country. These dogheads have thought these music and dance is not good for country. Do you think like that? I don't think. Music and dance, everything is good for your life and it is very necessary. But some people, wise men, told him you have to avoid foolish pleasures. Okay, we pass on to the second page. Okay, always do whatever seemed necessary at the time. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men. Wise men means who have something in their head, to be very plain. Okay, they have knowledge about everything. Such people are called wise men, and the king will be always assisted by should be always assisted by a company of wise men who have knowledge of various matters, so that they can help him to find out which is the correct thing to be done. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without the help from others the right time for every action. That was the reaction. That was the reason that people thought. See, as a teacher, I am a single person. Right? So, I have to since I am the principal too, I am not only a teacher, so I have to I need the help of Aarti ma'am, I need the help of Abla sir, I need the help of all other teachers. So only can I control the whole school and move forward, right? Like that, the king also needs the help of many other peoples. Why? Because he is a single person, cannot do everything with his own head. So that was the reason why some people told you need wise men's company. Okay, a council of wise men. So, to the first question and to the second question, there was not only one answer, there was a load of answers. So the king was, which should I take? He was thinking like that. Okay. But then others said there was some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. When some people told you need the decision of the wise men, some others told, hey, if at all his enemy is arriving and he is at the door, will the king have the time to call all the ministers and decide what is the right thing to be done now? No, no, what is it? They can't do like that. So that won't be practical, some others told. Okay. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it's only necessary to look into the future. Do you know what is looking into the future? Perhaps you don't. See, bigger ones, your father and mother or your grandfather and grandmother, they will know. See, there are some people who tell, mostly about astrologers, they will tell our future. That is what I told earlier. They'll tell our future. See, when I was getting married, he told your husband will be such and such a person, very good person. You will have a good lifestyle, this, that and all. There are some people like astrologers, you know. Some people told you have to go to them and get their advice of to what to do because they know the future things, right? Okay. So, in their answers to the second question, some of the most necessary to the king was his counselors. Others said the priest. And a few others chose doctors. And yet others said his soldiers were the most necessary. So that also, to that question also, third question also, most important person was different. See, some told doctors are important. There's been some epidemic like what is now going on. We are wearing a mask everywhere. Why is it? Because of that disease, right? In such case, who is important? Doctors are important. So, important person should be doctor. Some others told, a doctor, in some cases you need a doctor, but in cases like relating to money matters, in cases relating to famine, doctors, what do? They don't have to do anything. Some others needed. So, for some it was doctor, for some it was priest, and soldiers, many answers was there. Okay. To the third question, some said, what was the third question? What is the most important thing? What is the most important thing? To that, some said, fighting was the most important. What is not the fighting between you and the other person in that class? Not in that fighting. Fighting between other countries and this country like that is going, what is going on between India and China now? There is fighting, no. In that case, there should be a strong defense system, or else what will happen? India will go to their hands, right? They'll have to be very careful and they'll have to do the fighting very properly. Okay. So, to that question also, many answers were there. As the answers to these questions were so different, the king was not satisfied and he gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit. Do you know who a hermit is? Do you know who a hermit is? Hermit who lives mostly in olden days, who just discards everything, who lives who lives mostly in the forest or mountain region, just thinking of God, just living every other worldly pleasure. Such men are called hermit. And since they don't have interest in worldly pleasures, they are usually wise men. They know everything about everything. Since they are searching the inner self, mostly they have knowledge of everything. So the king thought, I'll go to this hermit. All other persons wanted to give answers only because they wanted the reward. Hermit is a person who is not interested in rewards at all. So the king thought, he will be the right person to be consulted to get an answer. Okay. The hermit lived in a wood. Wood means not the thing which you make furniture from. Wood means a small forest area, understand like that, okay, wood. which he never left. So he lived there. He saw no one but simple people. And so the king put on ordinary clothes. Understood why he went on ordinary clothes? Ordinary clothes means, what does a king wear? You have seen in films and all, no, big topis, nice ornaments, this, that and all. If he goes to the hermit in such a outfit, so he went in natural outfit. Natural outfit means as ordinary people wear. If at all here, what's a natural outfit of any ordinary man? Shirt and dhoti, shirt and pants, something like that. Okay. Let it be shirt and a dhoti. Okay. So he went in that dress with a turban on its head. As the king came near he saw no one but simple people, and so king put on ordinary clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse with his bodyguard and went on alone. So the king wanted to go to that man as an ordinary person. So he just mounted on got down on the horse from his horse and left it to his bodyguard. You take care of the horse, I'll go on my own. Because he did not want the hermit to know that he was the king of the country. Okay. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. What do you mean by greet? See, when the teacher comes to the class, what do you say? Good morning, ma'am. That is greeting. So, how will the king be greeted by that man? Hi, maybe like that. Hello, the next way. The next way. Okay, you can find out different ways of greeting. Okay, the hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. Do you know what was he doing? He was digging, no. And since he was old and weak while digging, what was he doing? As I do when I climb the step. Like that he was doing, okay? The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? Can you tell me that? Since you are so wise man, so wiser man, you can give me the answer to these 3 questions. The hermit listened to him. When the king was telling all this, hermit just listened. It's not like this when your mummy calls, hey beta, come here. What will you do? You perfectly know she'll have to do something. So what will you do? You'll just sit there. It was not like that. Without listening, you'll sit as if you have not heard. But this was not like that. He was listening, but he did not answer. Okay. The hermit listened to the king, but did not speak. He went on digging. You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in your place. Thanks, said the hermit. If it was some other person, we would have told. If it was me, properly I would have told it. Since I am not giving the answer, I would have told, no, I'll do it. But the hermit told, okay, you do it. And the king started digging instead of the hermit. Giving the king his spade, then he sat down on the ground. Why did he sit down? Just think. Why did he sit down? Yeah, that's it. He was tired. He was weak. He was panting. No. So he sat down on the ground. When the king had dug 2 beds, what was he doing? Making beds? No. See, when you plant a tree, before planting, what should you do? You have to take out all the weeds that you have to take out. Okay? Then what should you do? You have to prepare beds like this so that you can plant the trees here. Okay? So he was doing that, planting. So he was preparing beds, mean not the bed where you lie down. He was preparing beds for the flowers or the trees to be planted. Okay? Huh? Okay. He stopped and repeated his questions. So the king was going on digging the beds. Okay. He repeated 2 questions since he did not get the answer. The hermit repeated the questions. What were the 3 questions? Yeah, right. These 3 questions. Correct time, correct person, and important thing. Do you know that? Please tell me. The hermit gave no answer, but stood up. What was he doing before? Yeah, he was sitting down. No, he was taking rest. Okay, stretching out his hand for the spade. Stretching out his, he asked, give me the spade. And said, now you rest and let me work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. 1 hour passed, then another. The sun went down behind the trees. What was the sun doing? Walking? No. What do you mean by went down behind the trees? That means it was somewhat evening. So he went on in the morning. It was now somewhat in the evening. Okay. And at last the king struck the spade into the ground and said, oh, the king was going on digging for the flowers, trees to be planted right. So, 1 hour passed, 2nd hour also passed. The hermit was not giving the answer. The king was fed up. He too was starting to get tired of digging. So, what did he do? Finally, he stopped digging and stood with a spade on the ground. And he asked, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me no answer, that is, if you don't want to answer me, tell me so. I don't want to answer your question. You can tell me like that. And I will return home. Shall I do that? Can you give me the answer? Because he was making it clear that his answer was so dearly needed for him. Okay. Here comes what happened then. Now there is twist in the story. Just listen to the story here. Here comes someone running. See, someone is running. And come in, said the hermit. The king turned round and saw a bearded man who was coming. A bearded man, a man with a long beard was coming, running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach. What was he doing? While running, he was pressing his hands on his stomach. So, when do you press your hand on your stomach? When you are wounded, when you are having pain in your stomach, something like that. So, you can guess, he was wounded, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell. And what do you mean by fainting? That is it, falling on the ground. Fell to the ground. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound on his stomach. On the stomach there was someone had purposely put a dagger in his stomach, for sure. The king, what did the king do? Immediately the king took water in a bowl and he washed the wound and he tied a knot on it. What happened? And covered it with his handkerchief, with king's handkerchief. But the blood would not stop. If it is a small, what does your teacher do when you get cuts from the ground? Just what does auntie do? She just ties a towel on it, right? Now, if it is not okay, what will happen? We will just take you to the hospital. No, that is what we do. They will put a stitch there. That's what we do. Likewise, first handkerchief what he had put there, it was already wet with blood. So he tied another bandage